Courtney's working on it.
All right. You filming?
Yes.
Okay. This is the best part. If you were one of those people, and I keep coming over to you, that was sold on the whole thing on the grounds that you were guaranteed to get a pull-up, that was a lie. All right? It doesn't work that way. Getting a pull-up, we're going to teach the kipping pull-up, a gymnastics kip today. And what you need to understand about that is that part of that is going to be technique-based, and part of it is just flat-out strength-based. There is a certain amount of strength that is required, even with a kip, to execute the kipping pull-up. Now, many people possess the strength, and they simply need to learn the technique. And when they add the technique to the strength they already have, there's no problem. They shock themselves and they get their first pull. But I am telling you right now, I want to set expectations. Some people come in and they learn and they start to gather the idea of the technique, but they are not strong enough yet. And so continuing to do your training and focus on the modifications and work with bands and continue to develop that strength is just a necessary ingredient, and there is no expediting that part of the process. So I just want to set expectations on that. What we're going to do today is not train. We're not going to train pull-ups. We're not here to get you stronger. We're going to practice pull-ups. We're going to teach the movement, try to get a neurological development, right? Because we're going to learn how to do it properly, and the training takes place once we go back into the movement. Does that make sense? No, you're going to ask a question. Okay. We're going to break it down into a few pieces. If you're looking at the rings and you're going, I didn't sign up for ring work, don't worry. It is a tool that we're going to use to help kind of bring to life one of the pieces of the pull progression. We're going to break it down into a hinge swing. That's going to be the first thing we do, all right? Then we're going to go on to a shoulder drive, and we're going to talk about how we start to add a little bit of momentum and height to the movement pattern. We're going to introduce a kipping ring row. Okay, and it's the way for you to learn what it feels like to generate momentum and power from the hip while pulling. The benefit of using the rings is that your feet are on the ground. You're not going against 100% of your body weight. You're just going against a portion of your body weight. Your feet are on the ground, so it's an easy, low complexity way to feel hip extension and then pulling through to finish. We'll hop up there. We'll go for the real thing. We'll try to put the whole pull together. We will talk about how to string them together. So some of you, it's going to click. Some of you are going to get a pull-up tonight, and you're going to start to be like, hey, I can do a couple in a row. And we're going to talk about how to create a really efficient rebounding motion so that you're not resetting every single rep. And then a little bonus, a little icing on the cake is we're going to talk about a little bit about toes to bar, because actually it's the same kip. So while we're here, we might as well throw that in there as well. So if you wanted to kip the toes to bar, I don't need this mic, do I?
Not yet. Keep it though.
Keep it?
Yeah. Camera will be coming soon.
Sound good? All right, let's go around and introduce ourselves. Let's do names real quick, and then we'll start to break this thing down. Like I said, it's not going to be super formal. This isn't a class. We're going to get into small groups. I'm going to show you guys something. We're going to go out. We're going to practice that something. All right? And there's some rules that we'll go over when we get into it. But let's do names real quick.
I'm Alexis, Chris, Stephanie, Chelsea, Paula, Caitlin, Annika, Michaela, Jamie, Haley, Keegan,
Sam.
Nicole, Jen, Ray, Jessica, Mikey,
I'm Tyler. Okay, so first of all, everyone go ahead and kind of collapse to the side here so you can see from the side angle. You all right? Everyone okay? So you can see from the side angle. So the first thing I want to do is show you a hinge swing. All right, I want to show you what's going on with a hinge swing. It just looks like this, and then I'm going to break it down and talk to you a little bit. Hinge swing looks like this. Jump to our bar. Chris, can you come to the side?
I can.
One more time. We jump to the bar, come to a dead hang, and we start to execute a hinge swing. All right, so let's talk about what's going on here. First things first. You get a few reps, then come down off the bar. The reason is you're going to want to hang from that bar. You're going to want to grind through it and try to figure it out. One and done. You're going to try to get it there and get it done. Don't do that to yourself. All that's going to happen is your hands are going to get really blistered, and they're going to get really uncomfortable, and it's going to ruin the rest of our night today. Jump up there. Do 3 or 4 hinge swings. Feel it. Come down from the bar. Let somebody else in your group go. Don't feel like you need to conquer Rome in one set, right? Jump up there, a couple reps, come back down. Let's talk about how we build this thing into real life. Number 1, you need to start from completely underneath the bar, directly underneath the bar. Here's why. If I'm 6 inches behind the bar, which is where people want to stand, they want to stand here because they can see the bar now, right? It makes sense. I'm going to jump to the bar, and I'm swinging. And swinging is the enemy of a kick, right? Swinging is different than building up your own momentum. If I do a hinge swing properly, and I'm doing this of my own accord, and I decide that at any moment I want to stop, right, I can come to a dead hang. I am controlling the movement. If you are swinging at all, the difference is that gravity and momentum is controlling your movement. Do you understand the difference? So we want to make sure, number one, we're standing directly underneath the bar. When we jump to the bar, we want to be just outside shoulder width. If you're uncomfortable jumping to the bar, we can pull a box out. It's perfectly fine, all right? We want to be just outside shoulder width to give yourself a little bit of free motion. Too close, and you'll find that it's really, really difficult for your shoulders to open and close. And too wide, you're just going to have an issue later when we actually execute the pull, all right? To get this thing going, all we're going to do is lean our chest through, and we're going to let our legs come back. The deal here is that the amount that the chest moves needs to be equal to the amount that the legs move. So one of the most common mistakes that we see is people don't move their chest at all, and they start doing this. Right? They start doing like L-sits, right? Where they throw their legs up, and it's disproportionate. We want to treat the hip like the center point, like that's the axis, and the the legs and the shoulders are just moving open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. Show me with your hands, how far am I moving with my feet? Yeah, there you go. About that much, right? About that much. It's not a big motion. We're not doing a pull-up. We're just learning this fundamental hinge swing. Does that make sense? So one more time, what it looks like, what we will practice for a few minutes before we come back together is you'll jump up to the bar, make sure you're in a completely relaxed dead hang, and when you're ready, chest through, legs back. That's it. Okay? You give it 4 to 6, whatever the number is, and then come on down and shake it out. I'm going to be walking around looking, finding, troubleshooting, and then I'll probably start hollering back out at you some things to think about and work on. And then when it feels like people are starting to get the hang of that hinge swing, what we'll do is we'll come back together and we'll introduce parts 2. Does that make sense? Awesome. So it doesn't matter who you go with. Why don't we just get this group right here, find a spot on the pull-up bar. We'll get this group together. We'll go right here, you 4. Maybe you 4 right here. Is that okay? So get you guys grouped together. And stop. See how that feels like? And did you feel how initially there was
I was a little bit more in the back than forward.
a little bit, yeah, you were swinging a little bit. One more time, hop up there, and I'm going to put my hand on your back, give you a little push through just to get you settled, and then I'll get away from you. So go ahead. You can feel yourself swinging a little bit, so what I do is I push, and I don't let you go too far until it feels like you've got a motion. Squeeze your feet together for me. Awesome. Beautiful. Excellent. You okay? Yeah, and that's why just a few reps. Yep. Squeeze the feet together because it just loosens up the movement. If people are splaying all over the place, it just forces dissipating. So everyone gets like 3 or 4 sets, right? Don't just do 1 set and then call it a day. Make sure you can hop up there and do it a few times. All right, so I want you, do you have contact shoulders? Yeah, okay. So widen out your hands just a little bit because I want you to find that perfect middle ground between super loose and fluid, but like not being robotic about it either. It's kind of like, just like an athletic motion back and forth. Beautiful. Now I'm going to push you through a little bit, give you a little bit more. You feel how you get a little more action? Good. Keep going over your own. Get all the way through on your own. There we go. Feet together. Yes. Feel that? Yeah, so it's a little bit more action bringing the chest through. But other than that, I think just being tight in the shoulder, you don't want to pop your arms just to finish. All right? Nice. Not too far. Not too far. Just to there. Good. Now keep going. And I'm going to push you through your chest a little further. Not too far with the legs. Yes. Feel the difference there? So the legs only come up about that far. And the reason, yeah, perfect. That's awesome. Come on down. And the reason I'm pushing you through is because the shoulders tend to be tighter than the hips. And it's really easy for the hip to close. It's really hard for the shoulder to get open. And so that's why I'm saying less here, and I'm giving you a little bit more in the back. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
You said it was like engagement?
Yeah, so the question was, should there be glute engagement? I want you to keep your abs on, and I want you to think about it as the hip is what makes the legs move, and the shoulder, but the torso remains neutral. Awesome. A little bit more of the shoulder if you can open and close that. Yeah, good. There you go. Yeah, and the idea here is we don't want to turn it into a big hyperextended position. Abs stay on, shoulder moves, hip moves, shoulder and hip relationship stays neutral at all times. Yep.
So I like shoulder mobility like crazy. So that extension right there.
And if it feels tight, widen out your hands a pinch. It'll give you a little bit more flow. Okay. Guys, how we doing? I'm trying to make my rounds. Good? All right. But your feet are way too far forward. So I want you to do it again. Actually, let's use the, here, just come down for a second. I'm going to do this. Okay, hop back up. Don't let your feet come in front of the box. All right? And I'm going to, there you go. Not even in front. There you go, right there. Good. Not in front of the box. There you go. Feel the difference?
Yeah, I want like more control.
It's a little
The
bit.
issue is like
That's why I'm pushing. Because what I was saying over here is generally, it's easier for people to get their hip up than it is for them to get their shoulder open. So think, and it's not literal, I don't literally mean don't go in front of the box, but generally reduce the amount of leg play.
yeah, and that would be
It won't make them, but try to enhance the amount of shoulder. Oh, good. A little smoother. Try to be relaxed. Back and forth. There you go. There you go. Pull, hop back up there for 1 second. Okay, that's better. What I was gonna show is your hands were a little narrow, and so that can also make it a little bit difficult to come through. Yeah. So widen out the hands and pinch. You see the hands? Yeah. That's much better right there. Chest comes through. There you go. Nice and fluid. Hey. Now we're talking. Yeah, good. Excellent. That feel different?
Yeah,
beautiful.
awesome. Thank you.
Feet together. Good. Beautiful. Awesome. Great. Feet together just because I don't want, just keep everything tight. Keep everything tight. It just creates a little sense of tension up the bottom. Awesome. Guys, how we doing? Yeah. Couple more sets and then we're going to go back together. If you're good and you have this down and you get it, you understand, we're going to start to move our center of mass up, closer to the bar, and we are not going to bend the elbow. And the way we're going to do that is by maximizing the drive at the shoulder. This is a shoulder-oriented kipping motion, and if you actually ever watch, and you'll never watch the gymnastics the same way again, if you ever watch somebody on like uneven bars, when they do a kip, when they go from hanging to like on top of the bar, they do something called a glide kip, where they don't ever bend their elbow. They basically throw their feet up to the ground, and then as the legs start coming down, they close up at the shoulder and they end up directly on top. You guys know the movement I'm talking about? And then they start to do the amazing things that they do. So, at any rate, you can do a lot of work just from the shoulder, and that's what we're going to start to get towards a little bit. Who felt like they had a really good hinge swing, by the way? Who feels solid with their hinge swing? Does anyone feel solid with it? Yeah. Want to try it?
No.
Will you?
Yeah.
I want to show you guys one thing, okay? You got it. So don't do a hinge. Let's go to this part. Let's go to this part. I want to just show you one thing really quickly. Hold there. Don't do a hinge swing. Ready?
Yeah.
Just hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Stop yourself. All right. Swing. Come on down. Swinging is the enemy. If ever you find yourself swinging around, just come down. You can always hop back up there. Now watch the difference. If you go up to a hinge swing, I know I kind of already showed you this, but go ahead with your hinge swing. Beautiful. And stop. Awesome. The reason I wanted to show the first one on somebody else's body, I couldn't push myself. Great job. We're going to give her a golf clap. The reason I show that, you will hear people refer to this as like a cheater pull-up. It's like, hey, you're using all this momentum to get your chin above the bar. Look, if this is a cheater pull-up, then a push press is a cheater strict press, right? All we're doing is utilizing our body's potential to generate force, not gravity's potential to generate momentum. You see the difference? She can't control the one. She's just swinging around on the bar. She can completely control what she's doing on the kick. So look, we don't always lift everything over our head by strict pressing. Sometimes we generate force from our legs to get weight above our head. Don't ever let anybody tell you this is a kipping motion. Should you learn, or a cheater motion? Should you learn to kip? Yes. Should you do strict pull-ups? Yes, you should do that too. But they're not the same, and don't ever give in to that argument, ever. Just go to battle and see what it takes. All right, let's talk about the shoulder drive. Hands above your head, please. You got a soccer ball in hands. All right, and throw it in. Good. Bring it back up. Throw it in. Awesome. That's what we're going to do. All right? And I want you to watch what happens as we start to do it. Swing. I'm going to start to throw the soccer ball in. We will start to actually generate upward momentum just by driving the shoulder closed. You see that? Now, I am not here at the top of my movement. I'm still very much in one long line, okay? So I'm gonna do it one more time and I want you to watch that. It's not just what I'm doing at my shoulder. I'm not throwing my legs up in front of me. I'm using my shoulder and I'm kind of laid back, but I'm still in a relatively long, structured position, okay? That's really, really important. Again, looks like this. Always start with your hinge swing. And it starts to build a little bit. And I start to drive the shoulder close. You guys get the idea. You do not need to get that high. I'm exaggerating for effect. You just need to feel what it's like to activate and start to drive with the shoulder. In the hinge swing, you're kind of just like, you're relatively passive. We're not passive. We're driving down, we're not bending at the elbow. We're gonna feel a little lift. It doesn't need to be a lot, just a couple inches. Feel what that's like. Don't beat yourself up if it doesn't feel perfect. A couple reps, couple tries, come down, shake it out, and then go up and give it a try, okay? Same deal, break out to your groups. Give it some practice. Start with your hinge swing, take your time, build up to it. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get up. Like, what's the motion?
The motion is the soccer throw. So you're going to do your hinge swing, smaller swing, and then you're going to drive the shoulder down. That's it. And also, like, don't, small, just a little motion. Don't try to tear the bar off the ceiling or anything like that. You'll start by feeling it, and then you'll build on it. Start with your hinge swing.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like, here, like, when you,
So watch it. Hinge swing. Shoulder drive. Shoulder drive.
is it when your legs are back or your...
The legs are coming forward and the shoulder comes closed. That's when you're driving it down.
Okay.
You do great.
Really good.
Try to do it again without. Yes. Yes. There. Good.
Now I got
That's the
it.
time. So now shake it off. And now that you kind of feel it, you can start to amplify it. The first time I always tell people, like, don't need to do anything big. Like, just feel it, and then you'll start to make it a little bigger. And you put a little oomph behind it, like a couple reps. How are we doing back here? I didn't get you guys on.
You did.
I did? Oh, I did.
No, give us a go. Give us a go. Visualize it.
Let me see somebody go.
Okay.
Start with your hinge swing. Right now. Shoulder drive. Yes.
Nice.
Good. Beautiful. You feel it?
Yeah.
And you guys, if you're doing this properly, it doesn't mean you're necessarily, elevating, but you should feel your lat. Like if you come down, you're like, I feel a little tight here, I'm working here, that's a good sign. No, not feeling it?
I
Where did you go? Let me see what you're
Like right here.
Yeah, that's, well, widen out your hands a little bit.
Okay.
Go another couple inches wide. Good. Good. Why don't you try it again? Shake it up. You're throwing your feet really far up. So leaning on you. You're here. I want you to kind of be here as opposed to here. So you see the difference? I want the torso, because I drive down, my torso will actually be kind of back, driving down. Right? Does that make There's the ground, right? More of that, and less of that. See the difference?
I'm a little afraid of falling off, but
Don't let go. Whatever happens, don't let go. Guys, how we doing over here?
can I go?
Yeah, let's see it.
Glad I brought my glove.
Good. Drive. Yeah, that's good. I want to do one. Drive that shoulder close, even more. Yeah, one more. Good. Good. Awesome. Good. Beautiful. Beautiful.
See ya, Keegan.
Less legs, more shoulder. There. Good. Yeah. Yes. You feel the line a little bit? Yeah, you do. Great. I'll take that as a yes. Awesome. Why not? Just to finish. Go ahead. Then try one more time. Sorry. Drive the shoulder close. Just a little bit. Good. Keep leaning through at the bottom. Oh, sorry. I was gonna push it through. So one thing that'll help. There's like an elastic reflex in the shoulder, just like in most of our muscles. If you start to shrink how much you're getting through, you're kind of minimizing how much you're going to drive. So lean through to kind of load it, and then you can drive it a little bit more. It's like trying to swing a golf club, and I was like, you only get that much backswing. There's not a lot you can do there. To a certain point, we've got to kind of load our body before we can come through and generate power, right? So think about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I want you to continue to get your chest through before your shoulder drive actually occurs. Make sense? Good. Now lean through. Good. Lean through. Good. That's a little better. That's a little better. Does it feel a little different?
Yeah.
You want to just continue to drive that through and get it all the way up. Good. More. There you go. Good. Awesome. Awesome. The reason you're starting to swing is there's still a lot of left.
Okay.
Still a lot of left. Now it works. You control it there, but careful because it'll start to, even as you're hinging, it'll start to pendulum.
So is that I'm feeling it here?
No, I mean,
Okay.
yeah. You're doing it.
Okay.
You're doing it. No. It's not quite so specific as that. It's just like that's a good sign.
Okay.
But yeah, a little less light. Can I see? Good. Yeah. Use those tight shoulders. They're like trampolines. They fire you up with it. It's awesome. That's perfect. I'm good. Come on, let's see. You're so near. You're so close. Good. Excellent. I like it.
It's progress from last year.
It is. How are we doing on time? What time is it? Okay. And you're not.
Don't worry, that part
Why
was
not
on
your hands?
video.
Okay.
Throw those legs up a little more. Yeah, you're doing it just right. Just right. Honestly, and I would not say if I. Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing, does this box? Do you feel like you might? You feel you're completely free. Is that? Well, no, the only reason I say sometimes, like, I will tell people to go on a higher bar so that you feel like complete freedom of motion at your feet. So you're not going to. Okay, go ahead. Drive the shoulders. Throw the legs up as you drive the shoulders. Good. Awesome. Good. Good. Yeah, it is. And the thing here is, if we walk away with one pull-up, it like unlocks the door. Hey guys, there's something that I want to say. It's kind of just a lesson in the pull-up journey here, and it's really, really true, and I think you need to remember this. Getting one, it's far harder to get one pull-up, to go from 0 to 1, than it is to go from 1 to 20. Seriously. Because as good as bands are, and as good as jumping pull-ups and all the modifications in the world can be, there's nothing like the real thing. And so once you unlock the door, if we can get one pull-up, or even get you to the point where you can start to kip and develop the pull-up into class, you go from 0 to 1, and you've gone your whole lives trying to get 1, and 1 will turn to 5 in like a month, and 5 will turn to 20 in like 6 months if you give it a shot, right? So just a heads up on that. Like, we just gotta, don't try, again, it's like it's a mindset thing. You're not trying to be able to do 100 beautiful pull-ups tonight. It's not gonna happen. It's not even the goal, right? Let's move on. Come on back in. Gather in around these rings. It's ring time. Yeah. That's what the kipping pull-up is gonna look like. So, can I use this? This is somebody's. Do you need it? Does anybody need it? Go for it. Is that okay? I spoke too soon. Come over here. Come over here. We're gonna go. How am I gonna draw this? That's just how I draw it. Heads and hips. It's like the only way I can draw this stick figure of the body. All right, there you guys are. Right there, at the sort of apex of your shoulder drive. Apex of your shoulder drive. What you're gonna do is, as these legs naturally start to swing back, as they start to come down, we're gonna generate force. We're gonna take the hip up and out. So we're here, and we're gonna go out with it. And simultaneously, pulling. Now, this will happen on its own. Here's the problem with these diagrams, and here's the problem with coaching it. This is you have to understand it, and I also need you to like hear it, digest it, think about it, and then completely forget it when you go to the bar. You gotta just kind of do it, and we're like, if you give me a pull-up and it's really, really ugly, that's okay. It's still a pull-up, and we can make it better. If you get up to the bar and you start to think about the arrows that I've just drawn, like legs, hips, arms, it's not going to work. So it's like a fine line. Truly, I mean, it's that middle ground of like, think about the mechanics, but don't try to take this picture and make it manifest in your body. It just won't happen that way. So, but generally speaking, what we're going to practice now is how to feel that hip and the pull at the same time. That's the hard part. People, it's a timing thing. They start to get into this loaded position, and then they kind of like, they spaz, and they don't know how to make it kind of work for them. So let me show you a kipping pull-up. I'm going to show you just one kipping pull-up, and then I'm going to show you why we have the rings out, okay? Unfortunately, when dealing with gravity, no. But what I want you to see is what's happening with my legs. My legs are coming up, and then they're dropping down. And I'm ending up square to the bar. I'm here, I'm hanging out at the top of the bar, and I'm square to it. I'm not laid back, right? I've completely extended myself. My legs have come down, my hips have come through, I have pulled, and I'm chest to the bar, in that case, and I'm holding that position, okay? One more time. Hinge swing. And when you catch it, when it happens all at once at the right time, you float. You float, right? It's amazing. So the hard part is the timing of the hip extension into the pull. Are you guys seeing? I just want to make sure, like, give me a nod. Like, are you kind of seeing the legs, and then I pull. Big lift, and then I pull through to finish. Yeah? Kind of seeing that? One more, for sure. Last time I did it, my zipper went straight into my chest. And it was awful. I'm going to not make that mistake again. I tried to slow it down. Was it slower? All right. Here's how we practice this. We do a kipping ring. Seriously, I just don't know any better movements to let people feel this motion. Feet are on the ground, so you don't have to worry about doing the pull. You just feel the motion. So collapse to the side here, guys. Just on the side so you can see what I'm doing. I've got the ring set pretty low. I think I got every ring set the right height. We're going to go ahead and lay back. If you think about a ring row, here's a ring row. Right? That's a strict ring row. Just like a strict pull-up. A kipping ring row means we're going to generate force from the hips. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower our hips. What does this position kind of look like? Look at the chalkboard. Looks a lot like that, yeah? The only difference is that these are going to move and they're going to accommodate me. The bar will not. You'll be hanging from the bar. And I'm going to drive my hips forward and pull. I'm going to piggyback that pull right on the end of that hip drive. Lay back down. Hips first, arms second. Hips, arms. Right? And as we do this with a lot of force, we'll get to the point where you're almost falling through your ring. So again, you've seen a strict pull-up. A kipping pull-up is when we generate. Tell me later. Is when we generate a little force from the shoulder. We load ourselves up into this good, strong loading position, and then we drive the hips through and pull at the same time. And all of a sudden, hey, shot, we're above the bar. We're there. This is a great way to feel the timing on that. What you're going to do is you're going to get your rings, you're going to spread them out, and you're going to start really, really slowly. I mean, seriously, slowly, like this. Extend, pull, reset. Extend a little faster, pull, reset. Extend fast, and get yourself all the way up there. And you're just feeling the timing of when my hips and knees are fully extended, I'm ready to pull. Sound good? And I'll be floating around. Let's do it. Great. Or why not? Here, come. Why not the rings a little bit? So yeah, walk your, lay back. Good. That's pretty good. Lower the hips. Okay, so what I need you to do is extend the knees. So like straighten your legs. There you go. Just a little bit less. A little less. Good. Just right there. That's all. I just didn't want you sitting too far down. So now the hips come all the way through and we pull. Yeah, that's it. That's the idea. And we're feeling the timing of it. It's just the timing of it. Hips, arms. Hips, arms. That's the idea. Good. Excellent. Make sense? Good. You glad I did that? When you're
Graduated last spring.
okay. Let's see that. Yeah, all right, okay, got it. And hold that. So extend the knees a little bit.
Yeah, so what am I trying to say?
Walk your feet back further. You want to take your socks off? Let your hips drop. Good. There you go. Hips and arms. Good. Awesome. Let the hips drop. There you go. Load them. Good. Excellent. Good. 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 Bring your feet a little closer together. Walk your feet forward slightly. Good. Right now, lower the hips slightly. Good. Right. Not quite that much. There you go. So it's good. Hips and then arms. Yeah. Good. Really try to fire through. Good. Awesome. I mean, you can jump up to a bar and do a pull-up without this.
My problem is on that.
Yeah, right. So try to like it's like you're following through. You're not doing the work with your own. Go really slowly. Break it into two pieces. Hips. Yes. Hips and arms. Yes. And that will just take a lot of force out of the elbow and out of the shoulder. Is it feeling okay? ready to show you because what I want to do is allow people to go out, put into effect the stuff we've just worked on. That being said, sometimes you have to kind of undo some of the things that we've been talking about. What happens for a lot of people, if anybody's particularly heady about like the way, this type of experience, they start to think a lot about what's going on. You overthink this, you're just going to stall your movement out completely. Imagine trying to break any athletic motion down into like 7 pieces. Right? Try to throw a ball in pieces. Try to swing a baseball bat in pieces. Try to jump in pieces. Like it doesn't work that way. At a certain point, you kind of have to just get out of your own way, hop up, put it together, and give it a try. So, what I'm going to encourage you to do is hop up. You got to feel your own rhythm here. I always encourage like 2 or 3 hinge swings, 1 or 2 shoulder drives, and then on that 3rd shoulder drive as you come through, we're going to drive those hips through just like the kipping ring row and pull. Who has never gotten an unassisted pull-up before? If you get an unassisted pull-up, the group you're in, you gotta cheer. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. There's nothing worse than somebody getting in the first boat being like, it's a huge accomplishment, and I just think it's great. So cheer if you can. Break off. Couple hinge swings, couple shoulder drives. And the reason I don't give you a set number is even that's overthinking. If you feel it, go. And if you don't feel it yet, or if you're swinging, just come on down. Don't have to fit it all together. And then when you're ready and you feel that perfect timing, it's that shoulder drive. We pull as the hips come through. Yeah? Let's do it. Come on, let's get a pull. Do it. Yeah, we're rolling down. But I want you to try it again. Slightly wider hands. Slightly wider hands. Yes, go ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't just muscle it. Use those hips. Use them to move to the canvas. There you go. Good. Nice. I was going to say, I think you can still get more out of it. When you start to do it, you will feel their reflex. You will start to be slight. You will be on. Okay? Woo!
Like I'm filming
Come on,
a
let's
documentary.
go. Who's getting one? There you go. Good. Good. All right. So, all right, hold up. First trick. First little trick. You don't have to listen to it. You can practice it. It's a complete unraveling of everything I showed you. I see some people, and they're doing it right, and they're almost there. And sometimes all you need is a little extra loading. Right? And move the other side. So even though I told you to come directly under the bar and hang, one thing that you can do now that you understand how to get your chest through is jump to the bar and really load the heck out of your shoulder, like you almost fall through, and then go right into your rep. So it looks like this. It's not going to look pretty. It's going to be sloppy when it gets your chin above the bar and then we hone in on it. So it looks like this. Behind the bar, we load. Right, we just start to fly, right? You can load up all the way through. Again, it's not about truly. Normally we have a demo person because it always looks like you're trying to impress people. I'm not. I'm really trying to show that if you load up, if you jump through and let yourself swing through, you get so much tension worked up in the shoulder and then go right in that first round. I'll put money on it. Nobody watch, I'll make it uncomfortable. But try that. If you're getting close, give that a shot. Go ahead. Wherever you feel comfortable, you just load it up and go. Yeah. Alright, that's the idea. Do you feel the difference? So shake it out again. You'll get it now that you've kind of felt it. You're like, oh, okay, I can get a little bit more elasticity out of the shoulder. That's the idea. Alright? Okay, yeah, you got it. Okay, so.
I don't even know where to start.
You're doing everything right, and you're just doing it small.
Okay.
like you're doing it all, but it's kind of like just turn it up.
Okay. Throwing in the body.
Tear the bar. Like it doesn't. I don't care if it looks pretty. You just did your shoulder drive and it looked good, but you're like this. Like roll your legs up there and pull. Generate upward lift. Look, if I'm a puncher in football, and I catch a snap. Right, they all come off the ground. It's just that's it. I mean, they're just throwing a portion of their body mass that way, and they start to float. And then it gets easier for your arms to pull. So just turn it up a little bit. Let's go. Yes. You see the difference?
Yes.
Now we can start to build off that. All right. Sometimes you gotta just like unforce it.
Thing is like a forehead.
Yes, I mean, look, you know, take it an inch at a time. You know, I like it. Shake it out and then go again. Good. I feel like that much. Yeah.
When do you realize it's strength or technique?
What's that?
When do you realize, like, okay, my technique's good, but it's probably just strength?
I don't know if I'd say there's like a moment of realization.
Like, if you just keep trying and you can't do it, it's going to be strength.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, it's a really good question. I think it's more like, I think it's more something that we say to set up the understanding of the movement, which is like, yeah, if you, there are some people who come to pole clinic and they can't hang from the bar yet. And it's like, we're not going to get there. And it's, but I'm looking around, I don't think that's the issue with me, to be quite honest. I think if the mechanics start to come together and you start to feel the timing of it all,
Okay.
you will find that you can start to generate. What are we gonna ask?
What's the best, like, next step? Do we go back to bands?
I'll show you. We're gonna talk about
Okay.
that.
Because I feel like bands are
What? One more trick. One more trick. One more trick, and then we're gonna talk about. We'll talk about a couple things. One more trick. Sometimes people struggle with putting together the actual loading and hit drive and then the pull. There's something called a frog kick. A frog kick is instead of worrying about all this east-west travel, it's just up. You think about the way a frog looks when it jumps, right? You're just gonna do that, all right? So we're gonna start with a little hinge swing, but instead of trying to drive the legs forward like that, we're gonna pull our knees to our chest. Pulling our knees to our chest is just upward momentum. It's just generating force by throwing a portion of our body weight towards the output, or towards the end point. So it just looks like this. Come to that hang, we get a little hinge swing going, and then we're just gonna go. Right? And we just kind of throw our legs up towards the bar. It's not easier for everybody, but for some people, I'm just telling you, when I say these are tricks, it's because we've been running this ball clinic. I've been, even long before Alchemy, 10 years we've been using this progression to teach the bull, and it works, I promise. And there will be some people for whom, for whatever reason, that clicks. So if you're struggling, try it. Try a frog kick, and then we're going to come together and we'll talk about how we modify and what we do in lieu of real ball. That's better. That's better. And even though your knees are kind of bent, so just like the longer the lever, the more power we can generate. Okay? You doing okay? So the timing is, once we're open, we're not pulling. And when the chest is through, we're not pulling. It's as the shoulder closes that we start to pull. And the hard part is, I don't know if I've ever coached you before in class. I can tell you're thinking about it. I can like see on your face that the wheels are turning. The other thing you gotta understand is that like, it doesn't just click necessarily on the first night. You might have to practice this. You might have to go to class. You might have to say, I'm gonna work on giving pull-ups, and if there's a set of 10 pull-ups and I have 2 bands out, I'm gonna spend 2 reps trying to do without a band, and then I'm gonna strap into the band, I'm gonna do 8.
So when your back bar is like in front of you right now, that's when you
bar's in front of you, that's when you pull. And your legs are being thrown up towards the bar. Cool? Keep trying, keep trying. You know, we always come to this moment in every pull clinic. People start to get frustrated and they get disappointed because it's not clicking. Yesterday, it was no bother to you that you know, maybe it was bother, but it wasn't keeping you up at night that you couldn't, you know, do a pull-up yet, right? So you'll be okay putting it off another day. You cannot develop a kipping pull-up without learning the technique, right? You can't even go into class and just flail around on the bar and try. Now you can. Now you are armed, at a minimum, with a comprehension of what's going on when people are trying to do kipping pulls. That is the starting point for a lot of people. I try to warn every group at the beginning, it's not just gonna happen. But if you can walk out here and you understand the concept of the hinge swing, if you understand the concept of a shoulder drive, you understand the concept of where the power comes from on the head, even if it's just up here in your head and not yet in your body, you can start to build off of that. For some of you guys, you're doing a pull-up and you're 2 inches away from getting your shin over the bar. That's great. That's something to be celebrated, right? Like, and you're 2 inches away from going that distance. And guess what? As soon as you get that, we'll start talking about getting your chest to the bar. And we'll start talking about doing bar muscle ups. So there's always a next step. Don't feel like, you know, it's all over once I get one pull-up. All right? So I guess that's like just a perspective thing. You got to take what you're learning and go apply it a little bit. There's 2 things I want to practice, and then I want to show you guys a little bit of, I'm going to let people practice it. The one thing is I told you toes to bar is the same kick. Yeah? And I mean, we do toes to bar, and we might as well talk about this. So look, if I do a hanging knee tuck, and this is what I'm going to have everybody try to start with. If I just do a hanging knee tuck, up, and then down, that's a strict hanging knee tuck. Now if I start to hinge swing, and I start to do my hanging knee tucks, it's exactly the same motion. What I want everyone to do right now is go practice a few kipping knee tucks. Don't do a toes to bar. Kipping knee tucks. So literally the knee tuck where you pull the knee up to the chest and right back down. And all you're going to do is start with your hinge swing and the knees are just going to come up to your chest. We're going to practice this little progression very, very quickly. Go ahead, quickly. Toes to the bar. The very last thing I would love for you to try, pretty please. I know we're a little over on time, and I blame Chris because he wasn't set up. So I started late. Is just practice this kip in a band.
That's false.
What you need to understand about a kip and pull-up in the band, and by the way, this is a great way for you guys to get better at this, is this band doesn't want to play east-west. Okay? This will actually kind of throw you off. So all the hinging and all the shoulder drive needs to be a little bit more linear. It needs to be a little bit more north-south. So when we get into our band, we go ahead and we strap in, we jump to the bar, and instead of throwing the legs way out in front of us, we're going to kind of do that frog kick. Does that make sense at all?
This makes it harder.
This makes it easier. Because this is going to give you a little bit of upward momentum. So yeah, you're doing everything the same way. The band is just kind of lifting you a little bit. And we've got, you know, multiple bands or thicker bands. But I think everybody should give that a try. Try to kip really quickly. Try to kip. If you got a little life left in your hands, try to get a couple kipping pull-ups with your feet in a band. Give that a shot. You don't only need to go at once. Give it a try. And then we will break for the knee through. This is not the time.
Okay.
Now if you start to drive your hand close, right there. So it's like this.
Jump up there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's the timing. As you drive through, as your body starts to come back to square, you drive through and you're pulling. Yep.
All right.
You got it. But remember, the band is going to be a little more north-south. So it's not quite as much of that. Square out one over the neck. Wrap your foot around the band. There you go.
Okay.
Keep doing it. Yep. Lean into the band.
Which part? Hold on.
Right?
Which part
Right
here?
there.
Is when you go up.
Yep. That's it. That is the time. I know it doesn't feel like it's clicking, but that is it. That is it. And here's the other thing. There are people who will walk out of here tonight and they'll get it inside a week because sometimes you're trying to drink from a fire hose and it just doesn't always work that way.
Okay.
So don't be disappointed. Let's wind it down. Don't worry about it. I'll clean it all up. All right. Nice. All right. Who got a pull? I think a couple people got a pull. You can count it. A couple people. All right. Here's the deal. You kind of sleep on the. Well, somebody. I was gonna ask Chris if he's working in. I'll just ask him then. Of course. You've unlocked the door.
A year.
It took you a year. Now you have to kind of go for it. What going for it means is if you guys all go back to class tomorrow and revert back to whatever you're comfortable with, and you simply say, you know what, I didn't get a pull-up at the pole clinic, I'm good, you will never get a pull-up, I promise. I can guarantee it. If you go back to class and decide, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work at this even at the expense of how fast I can go in the workout. So hey, it might mean that I have to slow down. If it's got pull-ups in the workout, I may have to slow down, get up to the bar, practice a couple hinge swings, give it a try. I know that people around me are going to be flying past me, and that's okay. And then I finally will come down and I'll go to my modification and I'll get back into gear. That might be the thing you have to do in order to develop this movement pattern, because it doesn't just happen on its own. Going to for the record, in case you guys are wondering, every other pull-up clinic that we've done, this is the first time we've ever consolidated to an hour. They've actually been 4 weeks long. We've done a week at each stage of the pull-up progression. And we meet twice a week to practice it. So like, I guess my point is, don't feel badly. You gotta walk out here and be like, what did I learn? How am I going to apply it to my training? It may click for you tomorrow, but I promise you it will never click if you do not practice it and if you do not try. This room is often open. You know that class is available, or the room is available before and after class. I don't care what you do. Come in 5 minutes early and do 5 attempts. Do 5 attempts every day. Start with your hinge swing. Work your shoulder drive. Try to put the pull-up together. Strap into a band. Grab me when I'm walking around here, and I will continue to help work with you guys. You will get it. I promise. But that's the only way. Okay? Any questions for me on the pull-up? I know it's like drinking from a fire hose tonight. There's a ton of information. Are there any questions on the pull-up mechanics at all? Anything? Does anybody feel like they're mad at me? I under-delivered. Does anybody? So no questions. Nobody's mad at me. Everyone feels like they can go for it and get something out of this. All right, excellent. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We're going to do this frequently here. We'll do the same progression over and over. You can absolutely sign back up. Otherwise, have a great night. I'll clean everything up. You guys get out of here and go home.